This is going to hit a little bit harder. It's going to drop a little bit louder. If you don't have time, I understand. It's for thinking people. The founders wrote about a well regulated militia as a counterweight to tyranny, but they never specified who gets to decide when tyranny exists. And that ambiguity is not a flaw, it's the engine. Every political faction eventually uses it. From the Republican and MAGA worldview, especially post-Obama, the United States was already under occupation, not by foreign troops, but by liberal bureaucracy, cultural liberalism, demographic change, and administrative governance. And in that story, Obama and Biden, they weren't just presidents. They were avatars of an illegitimate regime. Courts, agencies, universities, media, all folded into the same enemy structure. So when Malcolm Kenyatta on the floor invokes the Second Amendment as protection against tyranny, MAGA hears confirmation, not contradiction. And here's the pivot. They believe the revolution already happened. January 6th, it wasn't the revolution. In their mind, it was a failed skirmish. The real revolution was electoral, judicial, and institutional. And it took place through courts, gerrymandering, judicial appointments, and executive theory, and finally, executive control. And once they regained the White House, the logic flipped, but the self-image did not. They did not become the tyrannical force in their own story. They became the victorious militia that seized the state, the deep state. And that's where ICE comes in. From a contemporary political science lens, ICE functions not as a neutral law enforcement agency, but as a paramilitary arm aligned with ideological enforcement. To supporters, ICE is not state violence, it is righteous order. It is the militia-made professional, federally funded, legally insulated, and morally justified. And here's the inversion that lands. The same people who once argued citizens must remain armed to resist federal overreach now argue that federal force must be absolute to suppress internal enemies. Yeah. Not because they abandoned the Second Amendment, but because they believe they fulfilled it. And in their framework, the tyrannical government had already been defeated. And what remains are insurgents, traitors, invaders, and collaborators. And once you classify human beings that way, morality is reduced to procedures. Renee Good. And that's how you explain the death without sensationalizing it. The death of Renee Good isn't an anomaly, it's the system. It's a feature of moral outsourcing. When enforcement replaces ethics, responsibility dissolves upward. No one actor feels culpable because the mission itself has been declared righteous. And this is where we speak to a coalition of all of us that believe otherwise. Disenchanted Republicans, libertarians, independents, liberals, progressives, far left thinkers, folks, and Democrats. We don't need to agree on policy to recognize the danger of a state that believes it has already survived tyranny and is now purifying the aftermath. History shows this pattern over and over. Revolutions don't end when power changes hands. They end when the winners stop seeing enemies everywhere. And that's the moment we are not at. So, I hope that somehow it adds some clarity to our mission and we can get America back on track. It's a very complicated country with many layers of structure, and it will not be a simple fix. There is no simple fix answer. I don't care how many times people come on social media and tell you, if only we did this one thing. It's a way more complicated situation than just one simple fix. It's way more complicated than winning one simple election. I know that's daunting. However, it is the house we live in. It's called the House of the United States of America. And for that structure to continue to shelter us from the storm of humanity beyond our shores and above our heads, we need to patch the roof, maybe with a brand new roof instead of a patch. We need to improve our heating system. We need to upgrade our circuit breakers. We need to repaint the house red, white, and blue.